Hello and welcome to Ryans Guitar Tutoring. We're going to look at the different parts of the guitar today, the different names we'll be using for them, and maybe some bits about how we're actually going to play the guitar. First off, we're going to start from the top of the guitar and work our way all the way down through all the different bits and pieces. If we start right at the top, at the head, this is this section here. We can see we've got the tuning pegs on the side. They make the strings go up and down, or higher and lower. Down at the base of the headstock, we've got this, the nut. These help the strings stay in line. Speaking of strings, that's what these are all the way down through here. The bits that actually make the noise. Next bit down from the neck, from the head, is going to be the neck. On the front of the neck, this darker bit, that is the fretboard. These silver bits that go underneath the strings, here and here and here, those are your frets. And finally we've got fret markers here as well. Frets are numbered from 1 all the way up to whatever you've got. This one's got 22, some of them have 24 frets, some of them, like a classic guitar, only have 17. The fret markers are going to be different for some guitars. Some of them will be the same across all of them. Most electric guitars are going to have markers on 3, 5, 7, 9, and 12. From there, probably 15 and 17, but we'll get onto those later. They can be on the front, like these white blocks are, or on the side. Usually they'll have one or the other. I have seen one guitar that had no fret markers whatsoever, so that was hard to work around. After the neck comes the body. For an electric guitar, you'll notice they're usually fairly thin. On electric guitars, we have these pickups here. These are the things that actually hear what the strings are doing. Going further down, we have the bridge. The bridge on an electric guitar will have little adjusters as well to help it stay in tune all the way up and down the neck. Finally, the back part here is on this Gibson guitar called a stop tail. Other guitars will have different systems. Some of them go down all the way through the guitar and come out the back and are held down there. The Fender ones do that quite a lot. Alright, the other parts on here is just a little set of electronic controls. Different electric guitars will have different things, but generally they'll have a selector that flicks up and down. That will choose which pickup is active, or if it's in the middle, both of them. And you've also got volume and tone controls. So the tone control will just make the guitar sound a little bit darker, a little bit duller, and the volume control will act like a volume control. So that's all the bits on an electric guitar. I'll grab an acoustic guitar and we can see just the few slight differences there are. Okay, so here we have my classic acoustic guitar. See, this one has a hole in the middle for making sound. Now, a very important part about these ones is having the right strings on them. You generally will be okay with whatever strings come on it, except unless you buy it second hand, which who knows what's going to happen there. If you are buying it second hand, there are a few things you really want to look for on an acoustic guitar. One is, very crucially, this joint here, in this, where the neck meets the body. I've seen a lot of guitars over time, they've started getting worn out, started getting cracks through here, and then the neck starts pulling forward, starts coming this way, breaking away from the body, and unless you take it to a guitar luthier who's going to fix it, there's nothing you can do for it to stop it from going all the way and breaking one day. So this one here has what we call nylon strings. They're kind of plasticky looking. These ones will be easier to press down, but usually the necks, this bit here on the neck, is a bit wider. So if you've got really small hands, it can be a little bit hard to actually get your fingers around the whole thing. Right. Other than that, it's all going to work the same. You're going to hold your chords on and strum the strings, or you're going to play individual notes. A final couple of little bits about what we're actually going to play the guitar like. We're going to hold, whenever we put our fingers on the strings, we want to hold the just at the edge of the fret, just right there. If you're too far back, you'll get that sort of sound or nothing at all. If you're right on the fret, on top of the middle part, you'll get a rather dull sound. But if you're just behind the middle part, it comes out nice and clear. Now, that right there, when you're playing a couple strings at a time, one string maybe, that's called playing notes. When we hold a bit of a shape on, so something like this, and we hit more strings, we're going to call that a chord. And this action here, when you move your hand down, that's a strum. You can strum down and up. If you're not using a pick and you're just using your hands, I recommend strumming down using your fingernails with your fingers curled in, like so. And if you're going to strum upwards, use your thumbnail. That'll just save your fingers from getting any blisters or anything on them. If you're using a pick, you don't have to worry about that. Hold the pick in your hand and just strum down or strum up. When you're picking one string at a time or individual strings, using a pick, you can pick down and up using a small motion, just to hit one string at a time. If you're not using a pick for single note things, you can just use your finger. You can pluck it upwards. So watch this finger here, pulling upwards. If you're tricky, you can try and flick it downwards. That can be a little bit harder. And occasionally when I'm using my thumb, I'll use the side of my thumb for picking up the top strings mainly. So my thumb will end up coming just outwards a little bit. And there we go. That is the first steps to playing the guitar. Stay tuned, we're going to have more lessons on here. So, until then, have fun, or check me out at www.ryansguitartutoring.co.nz. I'll see you there.